Hi everyone, my name's Trisha, and I'm going to be talking about the case study with the cave paintings. So in this case study there's 8 cave paintings in France and Spain that were studied, and in these cave paintings there's a bunch of handprints. And at first it was assumed that the handprints and the cave paintings were made by males, but after studying the handprints it was actually determined that 3/4 of the handprints were actually female. So how did they determine that the handprints were female? Well, they looked at the palm width, they looked at finger length. They also looked at they looked at a comparison between the ring finger and the index finger. And because of testosterone levels in the uterus, females tend to have a longer index finger while males tend to have a longer ring finger. So the archaeologists used these traits to determine which of the handprints were male and female, and it was actually a lot easier for them because there was a lot more sexual dimorphism back then than there is today. So they also looked at the cave paintings and what was in the cave paintings as another set of data. And in the cave painting there's a lot of reproductive symbolism. There's symbols of female biological anatomy, there's pregnant animals, there's symbols of female form. So there was much more female material in these paintings than previously assumed. So out of this data they came up with 3 hypotheses. And the first hypothesis was that the cave artists were female. And to support this, they said that the artists signed their paintings, so that the females were the artists signing their paintings with their handprints, and also that the artists were using personal symbolism, so the females were using their own personal symbolism, female form, pregnant animals, reproductive symbolism, as a way of expressing themselves. So the prediction for this hypothesis is that we expect to see a higher female hand ratio as well as female symbolism, and we do see this in the data, so in this case there's confirmation. The second hypothesis is that the cave artists were just young males hanging out in the caves, drawing things that they feel, and it's sort of supported in the way that, I guess if it's like young teenage guys, kind of obsessed, sexually charged and obsessed with sex, like drawing whatever they feel, it kind of is supported. But unfortunately, there's that female hand ratio, so the data disconfirms the hypothesis. And the third hypothesis is that the cave artists were male, but that the females were contributing, or they were spectators of the art. So with this hypothesis, they're saying that the males and the females were sort of in this like symbiotic relationship, where the males were painting the cave paintings, but then the females were sort of pressing their hands up against in response. And it was, I guess, it's symbiotic in the way that the males were using the reproductive symbolism with the females, and it sort of create this process. And so the prediction for this is that we would expect to see a higher female hand ratio as well as female symbolism, which we do see. So this hypothesis is also confirmed. Unfortunately, since hypothesis 1 was confirmed, we don't really have any resolution between the two. We need more data, and there's actually underdetermination between the two hypotheses. So I think that this case study is a really good example of showing feminism in science, because of the assumption that the cave painters were always male. It just shows you how much we tend to make that assumption. And I think it really shows that we need to be more objective in scientific practice when it comes to gender. And we need to uncover the faults we are making. And I really appreciate the archaeologists/scientists' attempt at being more objective, in at least towards gender, in this case study. And that's all I have, and thank you for listening.